السلام عليكم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اغفر وارحم وتجاوز عما تعلم انك انت الاعز الاكرم. باشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. We are in Surah Al-Talaq. I'd like to give you summary. This phenomena of divorce, it's old. It happened in Islam, before Islam. But how to deal with this phenomena, it's very important. And everybody of the community have to have the basic knowledge. Because every one of you can be approached or be in situation to answer, to help. And without understanding of some basic ruling in Islam related to the divorce can cause a lot of misunderstanding. So, for Allah to make special surah for divorce, this is a great thing, and for talaq. Because it's a phenomena, social phenomena, that we have to deal with it as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show us. The first things, in some religion, divorce is not permissible. Why? Because the marriage, in their belief, it's a religious thing, means the marriage is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many Muslims has the same belief, which is Islamically wrong. The marriage, it's a civic. Means two people, they choose each other freely. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't force anybody to marry anybody. This is a very important concept. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us, and the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked us repeatedly to choose and to choose carefully who you're going to get married. For man or woman or family or whoever involved in the marriage. So, this decision that two people made, or families involved or anything, this is a human being decision. Sometimes we use the word qismat, maktub. All of this word, it's give indication that the marriage is something written from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's in the ilm of Allah, without doubt. But it's our choice. Our choice. This is why Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, تَخَيَّرُوا لِنُطَفِكُمْ. Choose and choose carefully. And he said, in the other hadith, تُنْكَحُ الْمَرْأَةُ, the woman will be married for 4 reasons. Choose the right reason for marriage. So for us, when we talk about divorce, we talk about the marriage first. And are very, very connected. So, Islam guides us to choose the right man for our daughters, or our daughters, they have to choose the right person. And the same things, to choose the right woman. And started from there. So the preparation to avoiding the divorce is started from the beginning. And if we don't do the right choices, most probably going to end up with what? With the divorce or problems in the marriage. So this is why here we provide this exercise of choosing. Historically, in the Muslim communities, there is people who help to do this effort. And every family and every tribe and every people, they have certain criteria. What I'm looking for. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1,400 years ago, he guided us. He said the woman can be married for many reasons. For look, jamaliha, for her wealth, from a rich family, لحسبها, to her family, status or name and how famous her, and mention Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then lidiniha. So one of the reasons that the people married is to choose the deen. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَاظْفَرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ تَرِبَتْ يَدَاكَ. Adfar means choose. Here, ذات الدين, the one with deen, with the religion, you'll be happy. The Arab, they said, taribat, when you touch the turab. Turab is the soil. it's a sign of success. So if you want to be success, choose a wife that is religious. Choose a man that you trust his deen and his amana. Two things. قال إذا جاءكم من ترضون دينه وأمانته فزوجوه. The same things. It's not only for women, but there is a hadith for men who choose for your daughter. You look first for the certificate and for the how much money they make and how much this, or for the status or for the names, and for the same way for men and women. So for us here, we have a program, we have something we do before the marriage. We call it, as any project, risk analysis. Very important exercise that we do for pre-marriage people. How is this? I'm telling you, inshallah, one of you will help the community to, inshallah, make the right decision when it comes to the marriage. So what's this risk analysis works? As any of you know the business, if you have a project, you study all the risk. And this is very important. What's the risk of failure for this business? If I open a business restaurant without looking to the restaurants around me, without studying the population or the people who are going to be your customer, did they like this kind of food or they don't like? So if I didn't do any study, any risk analysis, I can open the restaurant and nothing is working because there is the same kind of food restaurant next door and it's very famous. So I cause it to myself. So how we do this for the marriage? We do similar things. So we start from studies. Studies for the reasons of failures. The risk of marriage. If you go there and put risks of marriage. You're going to get between 10 and 12 major risks. This major risk calculated, it's statistic, it's number. Man, it's not something, like a science rocket. Just they study the case of divorce and they look what's the reason for the divorce. And they calculate it and put them a list. So when you put risk of marriages, you're going to find major risks. Of course, this is for culture here, for certain kind. But us, because of we dealing with this, it adds some risk that they don't have the other non-Muslim communities, for example. So when you have this 10, 12 risks, you start from there. You flip the procedures. So instead, I'm going to talk, we are before marriage. We do anything before marriage. We say, what can cause the risk? If you the majority of them, they're adding them every day because generation change. So you have to update yourself if you're going to do this. So we look for major risks. One of the major risks, of course, is this is statistic, of course, that people who remarried, they have the highest risk of divorce. And this is people that sometimes they don't think about it. So it means that couple just get married for the first time in their lives. The chances statistically of failure is between 45 and 50%. Very high, very high. If two couples have been married before, the 45 will be 65, the 50 will be 70. Somebody will say, why? I already have experience. And in this life, every time that you have more experience, you do better in the future, right? I worked with electricity and things, I have experience. I'm going to do better. This is correct in everything except the marriage. The marriage, more experience, more chances of failure. Why? Because what make you fail first time is going to cause you again and again. Because the majority of the people, they don't do anything about their first divorce. And meaning when you ask anybody, majority of them, what happened? Why the marriage? And this is daily things that we do. They say he or she. Nobody say it's me. So from the beginning, nobody admit that he caused or she caused part of it. So they don't do anything about it. And we have rules. The same condition lead to the same result. So they stuck in this. People are arrogant. People are hard-headed. They don't want advice. It's not me. It's not me. Him. And they stuck there and they start causing the same problems. So this is the first risk. Second risk that a lot of people, they don't understand. It's the culture differences. And sometimes you see it very clear. Somebody from China marries somebody from Morocco. You say it's very clear, it's very easy. You have a two different culture. You know what's the dangerous things? That people from the same country, from the same city, from the same neighborhood, they can have totally, completely different culture. Why? Because the culture, we have a graph that we use. We call it the iceberg of the culture differences. What's iceberg? He said, there is things, the iceberg is the mountain of ice that only the head, little bit it's seen. But when you go down, there is a lot of reasons. So if you Google it, you said, iceberg of the culture differences, you're going to find something amazing. The top of the mountain of ice, things that we know, different language, different food, different this, few of them. And this is what the people look for, the differences of what? Of the culture. But when you go under, you're going to find a mountain of hidden culture differences. The same neighborhood, next to each other, completely different. Two families, both of them, they come from the same city, from the same. But there is other things. What makes somebody proud, for example, one of the things. What make you very proud? If what make me proud is the money. I grow up, if you have money, you are successful. The other people, the proud, it's come from something else. So what they said, the study, if two people, men and women, has two different concept of proud, this is a very risky marriage. So what we do, we go deeper in this, maybe 70 small culture differences. You ask them and you look for the difference, mentality, body language, sense of humor, what's the value, how is the gender, and you go through many things. And this has caused a lot. Sometimes you'll be even shocked. When somebody come from Ashburn and somebody came from Woodbridge, here, most probably there is some culture differences where the people are growing. And you start observing, somebody come from here and somebody from New York. Same family from the same country, and both of them grow up in America, and somebody grow up in New Jersey, New York, and somebody grow up here. Big risk. And statistically we observe it. Every time, especially when the girls go from here to there. There is a risk. I'm talking about risk. We're not going to happen. So we have to talk about it. So what we do, we help them to see the problem could be caused during their marriage. And it's science. It's not guessing. Statistically, this is how most probably do. So we go through after cultural differences, religion differences. Sometimes say, oh, this Muslim and she married somebody, clear, easy. And two people from the same community, both of them religious, but the importance of the marriage in their life is different. And the young people, somebody come to you and you ask them a question. You say, this marriage is not going to stay long. Why? Because even though they met each other, but deeply the effect of the religion is different. When they get older a little bit, they settle and everybody go back to what? To their comfort zone. Oh, like somebody, I married somebody, I don't want to say the countries and that. So I saw him, I told him, why you married? Very conservative, from family, I know his father. And he said, yeah, we met each other and you know. So the girl, she's from a liberal family. And the guy, he grew up religious, but he's not very religious anymore. So I told him, did you discuss things about it? And she said, yeah, we love each other. After a few months, I met him. How things going? He said she didn't want to wear hijab. Did you talk about hijab before? No. But now what's the comfort zone? Because he grew up, his mother wear hijab, his sister wear hijab. They have any other problem, he going to use the hijab against her. They have any other problem, he going to tell her, okay, now I have to be from the stronger place. Using her and this is what I told him, what's the real problem? It's true. This is you made the wrong choice from the beginning. So anyway, this risk analysis is very important. And the people, they have to do this, not just outside. You have to know that this person is one of the major risks is the finance. A lot of marriages fail because of the finance. People, they didn't talk about it. And you go on, the personality. One of the big problems these days, almost every day we say this, in-laws. His mother and my mother and his father and my father fighting every single day, especially when they live together. This is 80% of the people who live together with their in-laws, they have certain kind of problems. And this is special for us, our community, a lot of our community, they still live together. And we tell them, you're putting yourself in very dangerous situation. Because statistically, when you live with your in-laws, there is a very big chance of failure. And you go on, and they study. So the people, they have to do special that we came from different backgrounds. America, when you come here, you don't know the history of the people. We just came to the masjid. You don't know what's the history, who they are. Back home, people, they know each other much, much better. Here, they come from the airplane, they come from here, from there, from different places, and we are together in the community. So a lot of people, they don't understand. So this effort that usually, historically, this is the power of the Muslim community, there is people specialize. They know, they tell you what family. Here we don't have this luxury. Don't let your children or yourself married without pre-marriage counseling, because the risk is very high. And many, many people say this is from the message. This is Hafidh al-Quran. Hafidh al-Quran is very good, but doesn't mean anything about the behavior. One of the worst case that I saw in many, many years, somebody, they married, I'm not going to mention the city, people here, very good girl, very nice, very educated people are there. They told him that somebody in a different city, Hafidh al-Quran. Hafidh al-Quran, so what? If you have the Quran and your behavior is not good, or you have problem of a psychological problem, or they have bad past. So this girl, 18 years old, married this guy. Her father crying, may Allah inshallah make it easy for him. So they brought this guy, they shipped from a different state, and they shipped their daughter. This is even worse. There. They told him, Hafidh al-Quran. It was 2022. Every bad thing that you imagine in the marriage came from this young boy. Everything bad came out from this. I told the father, did you make any background check for your daughter? He said, no. They told us he's Hafidh al-Quran in the masjid. Hafidh al-Quran in the masjid. Hafidh al-Quran, just memorize. That's it. What about his behavior? What about the people? And then they find out that this guy, he has a problem with everybody know him, that he's problem in his community. And in general, not rules. If somebody come out from the community to get married, it's sometimes question. Maybe the community, they know. So ask until, as the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. So when we do everything possible, we followed all this, we flip every stones, and we background check. Background. I know some case, background check. This guy who come to the masjid every day, I'm not going to give you bad things. His drunk driving has a history. And recently, somebody come to the masjid, drink and be arrested for not our masjid. But I'm saying, do special for your daughters if you're going to help them. Now they're married, of course, but they have to help them with this advice. So if we created the best situation and follow all the risks, try to studies, then the role of the community, essential. Unfortunately here, the community, they don't care. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا. Very powerful ayah. So the ayah said, if you have husband and wife, young, your children, and you khift means you have fear that problem started coming. Shiqaq, when they split, start complain, interfere of the family and the community and the people from the beginning. Don't let the problem grow. Allah said, khiftum, you have fear. There is no problems, but the problem started. Immediately, go get counseling, talk to the family. Let's talk about the problem. What's bothering you? What's not? What's causing the problem? So the intervention before the problem becomes a serious problem that you cannot come back. Sometimes people come to you, they have problem for 15 years. 15 years. They're not even married. And too late. So this is why the time is, in fact, is very important. If you want to protect your daughter marriage or your son marriage, because when they fail one time, most probably is going to happen again and again. So the responsibility of the family, they have to do their best, as Allah asked them. Allah asked them, فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا, bring the tahkim. Tahkim is one of the great tools, arbitration. When they feel that we are serious about it, they're going to think rational, not emotionally. Oh, my father interfered, my uncle, my mother, my grandmother. People, they take this seriously, you have to take it. Because sometimes started with an emotional, get upset for something, misunderstanding. So when the heavy input of the families, most of the time it will stop the problem from the beginning. If the problem so the community have to provide the support, because there is no marriage without problems. But how to resolve this problem this is the key for any community. And of course, we have other ways. We have counseling, we have advice, we have arbitration. Arbitration is Islamic way that now most of the government and big company, they use the arbitration. Arbitration what? It's not sulh. It's not to fix the problem. Arbitration to make a decision for them to come out from the impasse. And the people, they don't understand this. What's tahkim? Tahkim, it choose one from each side. And these two people from each side or more, they're not going to give you advice. They're going to make a decision, hukum. And this is a big difference. And they have to know the both sides, in general, marriage or not marriage, that what you give me, you give the two people the arbitration, you give them power to make a decision in your behalf. So if these two people make a decision from two different families, everybody is represented, you have to follow this. And this has resolved a lot of problems. So when Allah said, حَكَمٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا وَحَكُمٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِهِ, it's one of the most powerful way to resolve the problems. But when everybody is arrogant, no, I'm not going to choose anybody to represent me. And this, of course, we cannot come out from this. If all of these steps, and in the end there is no solution, Allah give us this divorce. As Allah said, إِمْسَاكُمْ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ تَسْرِيحٌ بِإِحْسَانٍ. Why? Because Islam is very practical. If the problem is not resolved, don't live your life unhappy. And don't live your life and miserable life. I know people 30 years, they're not married. Literally, only the people look at them married, but they're not. Culture. They stay together, and they saw many of them. Everybody think these people is married, but they're not married. They live in different rooms, they don't talk, they're not husband and wife. There is no sakina, there is no mawadda, there is no rahmah between them. The three conditions that Allah said. Why these fake things? Islam is not a religion of fake. Culture, they want us to lie. And want us to show everybody we are happy. Everybody. As long as the people look at us happy, no matter if you are not happy or not. Islam exactly the opposite. Don't worry about the people. You have to be happy because this is part what Allah wants. Allah wants the marriage to be built on sakina, peace, and mawadda, love, and rahmah, mercy, and care between this. So, if there is no solution, then you go to the option that the surah revealed for. This is the topic of the. So it's in healthy things. I know people, some Christian communities, Arabs, the divorce is haram for them. And they end up what? They end up, many cases, killing each other. Literally, physically. Because they have no other option. Their priest said, no, you cannot divorce. Either they travel to another and they just stay divorced, but they're not. Or the violence come to a level that end up to crime and end up a lot of things. So for us as a Muslim, we have to do our best to make the marriage the happy. Problems happen, it's okay. But if they continue and become unhappiness and source of stress for everybody, and the children grow up in unhealthy environment, then the damage is big. And we have to sit, and this is the rule, very simple. We have two ways no third. إمساك بمعروف. You keep the marriage as long as the marriage معروف, that nobody is mistreated, everybody is respected and everything. And the second option, if there is no solution, you end it with ihsan. This is why so-called ugly divorce is not an Islamic divorce. 90% of the divorces in the communities are an ugly divorce. Because we don't understand the ayah. It's okay. There is a fiqh of divorce. There is a counseling. How to divorce Islamically. Respect each other. Don't hurt each other. No anger. No this. And do you see the ayah? Ittaqillah. Fear Allah. Fear Allah, because this is the most sensitive things, that the people hurt each other. Third option, that it's not Islamic, imsakun without ma'roof. You keep the divorce, and with dhulm, with abuse, with aggression, with anger, with this unhealthy. This is not an Islamic option. The other things, tasrihun without ihsan. You end it, but you end it without a nice way. Also, this is not an Islamic option. So we have only two options. Keep the marriage, and this is وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ. And fixing the marriages is better. Allah said, conclude with this, I'm sorry. قال فإن كرهتموهن فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا. You may dislike your spouse or your wife or your husband, and when you فعسى أن تكرهوهن, you may dislike them. Talk about women, and Allah bring a lot of khair from them. And by divorcing, you losing this khair. Mufassirin, most of them, they say the children. So people, they don't have to be emotional about it. You have to be. So sulh is the better. Fixing the situation is better. But if you cannot, we have the second option that Allah reserved a whole surah revealed about it. Just to give you an idea what we do and what everybody can do. And there is a lot of improvement for us. We've been doing this for many, many years. Alhamdulillah, dozens and dozens of marriages, they've been saved, but many of them not. So we have to be realistic, and we have to learn that this is hikmah that Allah put this, and there is rules, but the effort need to be done. There is nobody arrogant. You cannot say, no, it's my head. Humble yourself and come for counseling. Humble yourself and listen to the advice of the people. Humble yourself, and because Allah wants you to be muttaqi, not a desire or hawa or ego. No, sometimes in anger you destroy the whole future, whole family, because you get angry. And this is another subject, of course. So this is a summary that we thank everybody from the community. May Allah protect everybody, but you have to play a role to fix these problems in the community. Fix it with wisdom, with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show us. And every person, trust me, can save marriages and save families. If they have the hikmah, the wisdom, if they know the ruling, and they try to help through educate our children, through helping our children to make the right choices, and through interfere in the right time. Sometimes say, no, it's okay, they don't want to. Tell them this is the ruling of Islam. You have to interfere with good intention. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all our marriages and our families and our children and everybody, and bring the wisdom, inshallah, and protect the children, because statistic is very scary. Children who grow up in unhealthy marriage, 80% chance that they're going to have the same problem when they grow up. Scary, for real. Doesn't stop in one generation. It's continue. And we have a lot of proof. So this is why there is things need to be done to protect the future of our community. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. رب اغفر وارحم وتجاوز عما تعلم إنك أنت الأعز الأكرم. اللهم احفظنا بحفظك، اللهم استرنا بسترك، اللهم كن معنا ولا تكن علينا، وانصرنا ولا تنصر علينا، وانصرنا على من بغى علينا. اللهم احفظنا بحفظك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم لا تجعل الشيطان علينا ولا على أولادنا وليا ولا نصيرا. اللهم احفظنا واحفظ أبناءنا، اللهم استرنا واستر أبناءنا. اللهم لا تجعل للشيطان عليهم وليا ولا نصيرا. اللهم كن معهم ولا تكن عليهم يا رب العالمين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا منه سالما معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل معنا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما. اللهم برحمتك عمنا، اللهم برحمتك عمنا، اللهم برحمتك عمنا. اللهم واكفنا شر ما أهمنا. اللهم واعط لكل من الحاضرين من الخير ما يتمنى. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا. اللهم أنت ربنا لا إله إلا أنت خلقتنا ونحن عبيدك ونحن على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعنا. نعوذ بك من شر ما صنعنا. نبوء لك بنعمتك علينا ونبوء بذنوبنا فاغفر لنا فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. اللهم اغفر لنا فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. اللهم يا ربنا اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك واغننا بفضلك عمن سواك. آمين آمين. وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you. Sorry to keep you along. Someone.